And I love this report in a sort of very political website called Axios that Joe Biden isn't falling over because he's a doddery old man. It's because he has, and I quote here, a physician has diagnosed a combination of significant spinal arthritis and mild post-fracture foot arthritis.
Yeah, so now we already had this story about him using the short steps to get on Air Force One. He no longer goes up the stairs that lead you to the main entrance. He now has to go to the belly of the plane. That's a shorter stint. They switched him over to sneakers. You know how like my Nana, she lived to 101. She switched over to like a house coat and like the slip on. I get it. I'll be there too, God willing, someday. But that's our president in his trainers, as you might say, instead of his actual like presidential shoes. So this is what we're looking to reelect. And none of it's going to work. Blaming the sandbag, blaming the staff, making up fake things that he's getting treated for when we know it's really just old age. Because the latest polls just came out and 74% say he is too old for a second term. 62% of Democrats think that. 62% of Democrats want someone else.
Morning Joe on MSNBC, the lefty cable news show, has now started to turn around and basically show clips of Donald Trump that we have been showing about Joe Biden since the moment he came to office, trying to show dodderiness and forgetfulness and confusion of World War III versus World War II, and he misspoke about which Bush he ran against.
Trump talked about the 2016 presidential race and appeared to confuse his then opponent Jeb Bush with former President George W. Bush.
You know, the beauty was when I came here, everyone thought Bush was going to win. And then they took a poll and they found out Trump was up by about 50 points. Everyone said, what's going on right here? They thought Bush, because Bush supposedly was a military person. Great. You know what? He was a military. He got us into the Middle East. How did that work out, right?
Jonathan Lemire, he was talking, of course, about George W. Bush, but conflated him with Jeb Bush, who was the governor of Florida in March of 2003 when the United States went into Iraq. But for all the talk about Joe Biden's problems and his age and everything else, if you sit and watch not just those clips, but the 40 minutes in South Carolina, some red flags there.
We all know that Donald Trump's brain at times may be like a pinball machine, and he may start a sentence and go somewhere else, but strangely, both halves of the sentence generally end up appealing to someone. Good luck trying to tell us that Joe Biden and Donald Trump are in the same, loony bin category here.
It's not going to work. I mean, sure, has Trump lost a little off his fastball from when he was 40? Yeah, I'm not going to dispute that. But he is still on point. And listen, when I talk to him, I'd ask him a tough question. He'd give me his long wind up, getting out all the stuff he wanted to say on the issue. That's smart politics. And he'd always land it. He'd always come back to, and in answer to your question, he's very sharp and there's just no comparison. Everyone knows that. What's happening with Biden on so many different levels is alarming. One of the most alarming things is, you know how when you get old and you just start saying all the things that you've been holding in all this time? So really the true you comes out. That's Joe Biden. We put together a budded soundbite of the number of times just the past couple of years he's referred to black men as boy. That's this boy, this boy. Oh my God, what is he doing? Not to mention all the stuff he's done with his son. His true character is emerging. And it's being rejected by the voters.
Oh, and I've got about Hunter, right? So Hunter is now suing Rudy Giuliani for illegally hacking his laptop. Hang on. Whoa. I thought the laptop didn't exist. I thought the laptop was Russian misinformation. Well, now not only does it exist, they're now trying to turn around, and because he was off his brain on drugs, and anyone, a pawn shop style, whatever, if you turn around and say, you don't collect this within 30 days, they can sell it, get rid of it, give it away, do whatever they want, right? Good luck him being able to pretend that what apparently never existed, well, now was an entirely secret plot to pull him apart. And, sure, a court somewhere might try to do something on Giuliani. But don't you love the spin? Within 2 years, this was misinformation, and now I'm taking you to court for hacking the laptop that didn't exist.
I love this lawsuit. I love it. Go, Hunter, go. Sue away. Yes, let's see it play out in court. Let's see you say under oath, it's yours. And you knew it was yours, and everyone should have known it was yours. Go ahead and further embarrass my brethren and yours in the media that showed zero appetite to actually investigate this thing. He's not going to win. because yes, he abandoned the laptop and it was fair game for this laptop repair guy to give it to Giuliani, and the FBI already had it anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Just back to the polls that you were mentioning before about Biden. They're bad on many fronts. Now, look, we know that literally, I mean, one of those idiots on The View today was saying, you know, they would prefer to re-elect Biden and him die in office than have to deal with Trump.
There's more chatter in the media about candidates' mental and physical decline. Axios is reporting that Biden's team is concerned he might fall again. The New Yorker cover has Biden and other leaders using walkers. And when it comes to you-know-who, there doesn't seem to be any concern about his decline.
The question is this. Let's say Joe Biden, God forbid, dies in office. Isn't that still okay for the country? The country will survive it. But if Trump wins, the country will not survive it. That's a fact.
We know that there's multiple people that are turning on Biden. Whether they turn around and hate Trump enough to re-elect him, we'll all wait and see. But there's some stuff sort of deeper in the poll that I know is fascinating you, which is the people who are economically worse off since Biden became president. The extreme majority of them are running towards Trump as a way of getting away from Biden. That's going to be a problem here because you can't turn around and spin and BS to people that they are better off than they were 4 years ago.
No, 44% say that they are worse off now under this president than they were when he took office. 44%. That, and over 2/3 think we're going in the wrong direction economically. The economic approval numbers, 30% approve of him and his handling of the economy under the ABC poll, 37% under the NBC poll. So, I mean, at least a third of the electorate very dissatisfied with how they're doing economically. This is some genius at the White House decides to own the economy by naming it Bidenomics. Bidenomics are to thank for the new bridge in your neighborhood. Well, that's not resonating, not at all. The people believe what's actually in their wallet, in their purse, in their paycheck, in their grocery bill. That's what they're actually buying. People are like, with some distance from January 6th and from like the insanity of all the tweeting and Kavevi and like, what is he saying? And why is he doing this? And why is he attacking this person? You kind of just remember how you were a little richer and the border was secure and we had like a normal justice system. And you think, those are the good old days. I could get down with that again. So that's what's happening. The polls are showing that people are reassessing the Trump presidency favorably, and they are assessing the current presidency unfavorably. And that is why it's said to be an outlier for now. But in the ABC Washington Post poll, Trump is now 10 points up over Biden. 10 points.